This took place between 2014 and 2016, when I was renting a small 2-bedroom house with my now ex-girlfriend in a fairly up-and-coming city in the UK. The house was in a quiet suburban neighbourhood. It was small and was laid out so that the kitchen and living room were open plan. There was no space for a dining room, but there was just about enough space under the stairs for a 4-person table. The neighbourhood was only about 13 years old, and there was a beautiful park outside the front of the house with a nice open field where people would walk their dogs, jog, have picnics. I didn't get any unsettling feelings about the house, nor did I feel that there was anything off. I'm usually sensitive towards things like this, but for the first few weeks of living there, everything was fine. When I was younger, I used to see and hear things I couldn't explain. When I was 7, I woke up to see a man praying at the foot of my bed. In my teens, I'd hear a woman whispering my name while I lay in bed, or see shadow figures peeking at me from the doorway, but as I got older, these occurrences became less and less frequent until they seemed to stop altogether. These days, I don't get anything more than a feeling of being watched or a cold air wash over me. The only thing remotely eerie about our new home was that the park next to the house is called the Roman Park because of the ruins of an old Roman villa, which make it a bit of a local attraction in the city I live in. After the first few months of moving in, everything was great. My girlfriend and I would get home, make dinner, watch TV and go to bed. We had 2 cats who often woke us up in the middle of the night because, as anyone with cats will tell you, cats only want your attention when you're not giving it to them. They would walk on our faces, knock things over, jump on the bed and run up and down the stairs. It was almost comforting knowing that they were there. Sometimes they would stand in the bedroom doorway and meow at us until we woke up. This is how they told us that they wanted to go outside. We didn't have a cat flap, so we had to let them in and out. One night, my girlfriend and I are watching TV when, out the corner of my eye to the left, I see something moving on the stairs. I turn to look at it and there's nothing there. I ignore it, thinking maybe it was a trick of the mind, but it happens again. I keep my attention focused on the stairs, trying to work out what caught my eye, when my girlfriend says, "Did you also see that?" "Yeah," I said. "It looked like someone was standing there." We get a little bit freaked out, and even more so when we realize that the cats are both fixated on the stairs as well. This is a little weird and I get a bit creeped out, but we kind of shrug it off and carry on with the movie. A few nights go by and the same thing happens again, but this time my girlfriend and I turn our heads at exactly the same time. "It looks like someone in a white dress," my girlfriend said to me. I instantly get goosebumps all over my arms because now I know we saw the same thing. This becomes more and more frequent, and we decide that maybe we should try and ignore it, or keep looking forward but pay attention to what we see out the corner of our eyes. Soon we start seeing this thing almost every day, multiple times a day, and even in the early afternoon. In an effort to relieve our fears, we turn it into a bit of a joke. Now, our back door was a sliding door with small vents at the top that you could open and close. When the wind blew in a very particular direction and came in through the vents, they made a noise similar to a kazoo. We started referring to this entity as Lonely Party Ghost, and that was the name we gave to the thing we kept seeing on the stairs. Anytime anything went missing, Lonely Party Ghost. A weird, unexplainable noise, Lonely Party Ghost. This helped us feel better, but I don't think it helped with whatever was in our house. As time went on, I would wake up in a sweat with my girlfriend standing on the other side of the room, lights on, looking absolutely terrified. When I asked her what was wrong, she told me I'd been screaming. I'm usually a light sleeper, and I've never had an issue with night terrors or sleep talking, so this was very unusual for me. But it started to become regular. I'd wake up, my girlfriend would have the light on, and she would tell me that I'd been screaming bloody murder in my sleep. I woke myself up once from screaming, but I couldn't remember what I'd been dreaming about. As the screaming got worse, so did the frequency of lonely party ghosts' appearances. It started becoming clearer and more corporeal. What started as a blur in the corner of our eyes had now become a fully formed figure that would stand in the doorway of our bedroom at night. When this first happened, I thought I was imagining it, some sort of half-asleep dream spilling into the real world, except it stayed there, motionless, just staring at us long after I was fully lucid. As you can imagine, this woke me up bloody quickly, but even in my wide-awake state, it was still there. More weird things happened after that. My girlfriend woke me up because I punched her in my sleep. I would wake up screaming, drenched in sweat. I would hear walking in the house and things being knocked over. There was one occasion when my girlfriend was walking up the stairs when she suddenly fell down. Luckily, she didn't fall far, so I laughed and asked if she was okay, but she didn't laugh it off like she usually would. No, she was freaking out. Someone pulled me. What? Someone grabbed my shirt and pulled me backwards. She started having a mild panic attack, and we had to get out the house for a few hours to calm down. The way she explained it was that when she was walking up the stairs, someone physically grabbed her and yanked her back forcefully. One night we heard the usual playful noises of the cats coming from the kitchen, and my girlfriend heard it too. It was keeping us awake, so she asked me to put the cats outside, but when I went to look for them, they weren't there. I opened the curtains which covered the back sliding door, and there they were, sitting on the outside deck, waiting to be let in. This gave me chills, and I ran upstairs to tell her that the cats had been outside the whole time, so they couldn't have made whatever noises were coming from downstairs. The figure in the doorway started showing up more often, and no matter how many times we closed the bedroom door, it would slowly swing open. More often than not, though, it would be the cats, as the door lock wouldn't latch when you closed it, and all you had to do was give it a hard enough push to open it without turning the doorknob. Towards the end of our tenancy, my girlfriend wakes me up gently in the middle of the night by nudging me and whispering my name. I ask her what's going on, and she tells me she thinks there's someone downstairs. We had made it a routine to leave the cats out at night, so we knew that any noises in the house were not caused by them. I don't know if this made us feel better or worse, but as we lay there in the dark and listened to someone going through our kitchen drawers, we were frozen in fear. I feel that it's my responsibility as the man of the house to go and investigate any potential burglary, so after taking a deep breath and mustering up all the courage I could find, I got out of bed and tiptoed to the top of the stairs. I heard the noises getting louder as I approached. It sounded like someone had climbed through our kitchen window, over the sink, and was now going through our cupboards. Had I left the window open? We often did this when we were cooking to let some of the heat out the house, but we always made sure that they were closed when we went to bed. I had an idea to take my phone out and record a video with the torchlight on just in case I was attacked or killed. That way, my potential murderer would be caught on film. I took a step down the stairs, stopping and looking through the banister at the living room. The noises continued. I took another step. There was a creak as the wood beneath my foot took my weight. The noises stopped for a brief second before continuing. Whoever was in our house knew that I was there and didn't care. They were going through the glass cupboard now. I could hear the clinking of glasses being knocked against each other. I took a few more steps down and shone my phone's torch into the kitchen, and the noises stopped. I looked around and couldn't see anything out of place. The kitchen windows were closed, the cupboard doors were closed, the curtains were dead still. There was no one there. I did a quick sweep of the house, ready to punch anyone I saw, but there wasn't anybody. I know that based on everything that has happened up until this point, I should probably attribute this to Lonely Party Ghost, but honestly, it didn't even cross my mind. I should have called the police, but again, didn't cross my mind. I heard a noise, thought we were being burgled, and was fully expecting to fight someone. I checked that all the windows and doors were locked. I checked everywhere that someone could potentially hide, but I found nothing. My adrenaline was pumping so hard that I could hear my heart beating in my ears. I let out a short sigh of relief and went to the back door to let the cats in, but just then, I noticed something weird on my phone screen. A bright light shining from the other side of the room. I looked at my phone, confused by what I was seeing. I looked up and I couldn't see any light at all. The area where the light was coming from was just a blank wall. No mirrors, no photos, nothing. When I looked back at my phone, the light was still there. It was like an LED was being pointed at my phone. I've seen dust on a camera, and while it can be reflective, this was not reflecting light. It was emitting it. It started to drift closer and closer to me, getting bigger and brighter, but I could still not see it with my naked eyes. Finally, it got to within a few inches of my phone, hovered there for about 5 seconds, before then drifting towards the kitchen and disappeared. I know that this wasn't a dust particle. I've seen that enough times to know that they don't emit light like that, nor do they drift so smoothly and with such purpose. Honestly, I feel that this thing walked across the room, stood right in front of me, and then walked back into the kitchen. I let the cats in and went upstairs to show my girlfriend the video. She was in shock when I showed her and explained what happened, and I had shown a few people the video who all thought it was weird. Unfortunately, I've since lost the video, but I will never forget how big and bright that light was. We weren't in the house for much longer after that, but nothing too exciting happened really. We still heard noises, still saw things out the corner of our eyes, and I'd wake up with scratches on my back. The new house we moved into after that didn't have anything unusual happen, and it was a relief to live somewhere where I didn't constantly feel eyes on me. Do you think that a new house can be haunted if it's on old land? What do you think was in my house? Why did I see a woman in a dress on the stairs but a shadow in the doorway? I'd love to hear your thoughts.